when the records show that there's been a hagiography of rotosculpturism, what we're taking to the embankments is not a tank or a scaffold. What we have to see in our Rasharsha research paper on Churchill is that his knobby joints never intended us to feast upon the corpuscles of sweat that he engendered. And if we ride these things like a mechanical bull into the sunsets of our desperation, well, we hold tightly to our forehead without an anxiety that some onlooker could create a crenellation upon which our parapets would demise. We will see, inevitably, a transmogrification from somebody that we can personalize by changing their mustache or their garden gear. And we can put these things into a savings account of kind. And we could pull it with a tether onto our dreams. And what happens when you tugboat fantasy, whether or not that fantasy has a mooring in the kinds of, buttonholds or hook holds, or, when you are camping and you pound a stake into the ground, which then becomes the corporation upon which you can lasso your tendencies. And in the same way, to uproot these fantasizations, or we could call them the morals of beady men, and to fallopiate the tripwire in those circumstances is to see an apartment hood that we don't have enough crabs to facilitate. And when you take the interdimensionality of Hefnerism to its true deadline, what you'll see in that fulsome nostrility is what's left, or if we say a remnant, we have to also say a revenant, of the highways or reconciliations that took place between the high wizards of our solemn fidgeting and the low rambunctiousness that we packed into our valise. So sometimes, amidst all this middlehood, where no exopleasantry can be found as a destination or a pull or a magnet or a siren or a yearning or a retro yearning, or shall we say a refacilita yearning, which can be underpurposed or could be over poltrooned. And these things, when we habitually employ them with a far unmealy wage, are the resonances of purple. And towards that resonance hood, we can say that our neighborhoods have been crippled by upstanding citizens, and the slow ambulation that any community despises creeps like a festering mold that's unaddressed in the windowsills of neighborliness. And maybe, I think I have seen in one or more pick chronicled, responsibility-laden, hammer-headed lifespan I have taken upon myself, but also upon the others who proclaim the sisterhood to be a demerit. I have seen that there has been we can't call aspiration suffering unless it is blue and appellates a normalcy. But we can call our hindquarters brutal in their misandry. If we do have misandrous hindquarters, but to render such an accusation against buttock, when it may display no such chauvinism or anti-chauvinism, inter-chauvinism, interregnal chauvinism, all of these things may be ungraspable by a glute of one kind or another. And to grasp is not necessarily to understand. When you grasp, you curl the fingers, and that surrounding enables manipulation, but not necessarily comprehension. To use a tool, it is not required to busper the tool. It is not required to fillet the bursar. And if we assume it is, if we leave it to the representatives and the besmirchers, then our only brown sugar crust is our high-sided and lumpen proto-derriere. But I don't have to explain that to you, of course. Thank you for listening. Comments, as always, welcome.